Seiko clock's ticking down now, 20 minutes in this session, and who knows whether or not the fast portion of that is going to be right now, or is there going to be a moment later on in the sequence, or even towards the end of the session where it is dry or slightly less wet. We're going to answer all those questions for you very shortly. Here's where we're racing this weekend, Sandown International Motor Raceway. We are 25 kilometres to the southeast of the Melbourne CBD. We are in suburban Springvale. And this facility, owned by the Melbourne Racing Club, a horse racing complex and dual-use motor racing complex. It's seen some great international motorsport over a long period of time. Very, very challenging scenario. Now, one of the things that I found fascinating with practice 4 and 5 a little bit earlier in the day was just how strong the performance of this Dunlop wet tyre, the new wet tyre, was. You talked about it earlier, Mark. Now, when we saw cars running in dry conditions yesterday in the 8s, we got down to flat 13s in that last session. The delta, the difference between peak of both wet and dry was not that big. Well, here's a moment, and this is what we spoke about before, that if you fall off the road in these conditions, it can be a real challenge.
Well, Feeney had actually just done the fastest lap so far with a 15.3. Anton De Pasquale's just knocked that off with a 15.1. But that could have been a red flag drama there for Feeney. He's able to get that car moving again. That was off the road down at turn 1. We saw him go off the road twice down there so far. So he's battling to find the right braking marker and to get the balance right under brakes for there.
So Mostert at the top, pressing on. So he's gone quicker in the first sector as Reynolds now to the top on a 13.5, and off and buried and probably unlikely to get out of there is Aaron Love.
Red flag, red flag.
He's into the guardrail.
The exit is now closed.
So red flag.
Turn 9.
And it's hit the guardrail on the way down.
And we're in pit lane, mate, down the front.
In the approach to turn 9.
Top 5 all sessions, so we're currently parked at 16 because we didn't get that last lap in completely. So bad timing, but pace is good.
So everything just comes to a grinding halt there. Such a shame for Aaron. Quite a few people were on pretty quick laps there. Mostert Cume was showing that he potentially could go to the top, and Feeney had just started a lap. That's the bottom end of the front splitter and bumper assembly off Aaron's car. We'll have a look at it in replay just to see what's happened. He ended up sitting on top of the curb there, zero grip, and then it's back the left-hand side of the car into the wall down there and given it a fair tear up.
Mostert is the fastest car in the third sector. As we see Randall and Kostecki coming down into the braking area. Brody with that number in the middle, he might go up, and it's just a little bit of sunlight just emerging.
Yeah. So Larko got the spot on, so we're inside 2 minutes, and it's now sunlight on Sandown International Motor Raceway, and that's going to have a profound effect, because if you're out there with a tyre in good condition at the moment, you'll make gains.
Here's
Heimgartner's going to get some speed going here based on the numbers that we can see. Where does it park him? No, he's had a problem in the final sector. He didn't get it together through the last 4 corners. So Feeney at the moment is on top. Heimgartner missed out there in the final sector, and they dare not blink at Brad Jones Racing. Stanaway is 9th. Percat is 10th. Courtney's just outside. Winterbottom just outside. Davison and De Pasquale are 13th and 14th at the moment.
There's only 1 minute remaining. So these are all the final laps for everybody. And some of those that were really fast early have dropped out, like David Reynolds, who was the fastest car before the red flag. He's currently 15th, but he's on his best lap so far. I don't think it's fast enough to get right to the pointy end, but it might get him into the back of the top 10. Let's have a look at what this number ends up being. David Reynolds comes across the strike and he does a 13.5. He doesn't actually improve. It'll have to be his last lap.
Now, Waters is parked back in the lane. Kostecki had a curb strike at turn 7. Meantime, Stanaway came up a spot into 8th while you were focused on David Reynolds with 30 to run. Feeney on top at the moment. Golding just shuffled up 9 spots to 13th, but it's not quite enough. Payne is on a good lap here. He's currently sitting in 3rd position. He's done a personal best in the first sector, and he's only a 10th away in the mid-sector from the best we've seen from Brody Kostecki. who's just outside. We've got Percat in 10th at the moment. Courtney, Winterbottom, Golding, Davison are just on the outside of the top 10, and the sunlight continues to bathe Sandown.
It's now closed.
The flag is out, they've closed the lane. It's just a question of who completes their laps now, and there's quite a lot of cars on the racetrack. Has anybody got anything else in store? Brody's done a personal best in Sector 1. Nick Percat has done a personal best in Sector 2. He's 10th. He's right on the fringe at the moment.
But
Wheel spin.
In terms of the cumulative number, there's basically no one other than Brody probably is going to go a little bit better, but he's currently in 7th, so he's locked in already. David Reynolds has not been able to do. He's done a 13.56. It's exactly the same time as he did earlier. Di Pasquale up into 10th.
And that punched Percat out. So Anton got a number going there at the end. Look at the little groove appearing down there in the braking area where you're loading those tyres. So Anton Di Pasquale's done a personal best in the first couple of sectors to do a 13.3 at the end of the lap and just squeeze in by the narrowest of margins over Nick Percat.
Slade comes up 7 spots, but only to 16th. That performance by Di Pasquale has got him into every shootout this year.